I feel like Tyson Fury has to answer a lot of questions.
You don't try to box guys like that, you fight them.
I think the way to fight Usyk is a way that I'm not sure Tyson Fury can fight.
Does the cat get exhausted from chasing the mouse, or does the mouse get exhausted from running away from the cat?
It was off, then on, then off, then on, but it is definitely on May 18th, live on DAZN, and I'm talking about the undisputed heavyweight showdown between the WBC heavyweight champion Tyson Fury and the unified heavyweight champion of the world, Oleksandr Usyk. Guys, this is it. This is the big one, right? Everyone talks about if the heavyweight division is good, boxing is good. And the heavyweight division is starting to get really, really good. Chris, I want to come to you on this one. Fury Usyk, this is 100% number one versus number two. Out of interest, who's number one and who's number two for you?
It's tough. I would probably put Fury at number one because he's been a heavyweight longer. I don't put too much stock in the lineal championship. You know, some people do. I know Usyk's got 3 versions of the title, but he did that by beating one guy. Usyk's only been a heavyweight for, 3 or 4 years now, where Fury is a career-long heavyweight who I think has a comparable or better resume at heavyweight than Oleksandr Usyk is. But look, 1 and 1A at the very worst.
Yeah. Postponements always happen in fights, Sean, cuts, whatever. Derailment because of uncertain in France in Ghana. I point to the MMA man here. That kind of caused a bit of a problem. Who does this benefit the most, this stop, start?
You know, in this one,
or who does it hinder the most?
I'm going to go on a limb and say it didn't hinder either guy.
That's called sitting on the fence, actually.
Well, no, it's not. Let me explain.
For the record. Yes.
Let me explain. Because I'm on record for saying that I didn't think the fight was going to ever happen.
Oh.
And when there was a cut that came out, I said, well, listen, I didn't think the fight was going to happen. This was before I even knew that it was a cut. I just heard that the fight was postponed. Makes sense to me because I didn't think the fight was going to happen. I felt like Tyson Fury was getting into other things. He's getting into the whole entertainment world. He's not interested in fighting anymore. He's had some of the toughest fights he could ever have in his career. You know, Klitschko, the list goes on, 3 with Wilder. I didn't think he wanted a night with Usyk. That is a night with a guy that's all over the ring.
Nightmare.
It's southpaw. Yeah. And it's just, I said it's too much. Tyson Fury don't want it. But when the fight got postponed and rescheduled, I said, wow, Tyson Fury's connected mentally. He's ready for that night. And I think that he's going to go get it. Here's the thing with Usyk. Usyk ain't going to stop anything. He already said it. Hey, if he pulls out on the next one, we're just going to replace him. So Usyk is the kind of fighter that trains in season and out of season. Fight, no fight, I'm training, I'm staying ready. So it's not out of the norm for him to train and something get postponed. So what? I just keep doing what I do. So I think mentally, it didn't disturb Usyk because that's how he operates. Mentally, it didn't disturb Tyson Fury. If anything, it clicked to him. It got him going, you know? Hearing everybody like myself saying, oh, he doesn't want it, it got him to click in. So I think it was, if anything, it's become an advantage for both guys.
Sergio, I know you're a Tyson Fury fan. Apart from the size difference, it's probably going to be around 3 stone come fight night between the two. What does Tyson Fury do better than Oleksandr Usyk in the ring?
He fights like a bigger man more. He grapples and uses dirty tactics a lot more.
The dark hearts, the elbows, and everything.
Everything, yeah. And he knows how to put his weight and his size and his mass over opponents. I think that's going to be key with a fighter like Usyk, who you can't pin down. When you do grapple, that's what Fury does well. He fights like a big man. That's what Joshua couldn't do against Fury. He couldn't against Usyk. He couldn't grapple him. He couldn't fight like a big man. The first fight, Joshua tried to outbox a sniper boxer. You're not going to outbox Usyk. His footwork is too brilliant. I mean, he's a southpaw. He has an Olympic pedigree. He's an amazing lethal sniper. So you don't try to box guys like that. You fight them. You fight boxers. And I think Fury has a little bit of boxer and a lot of fighter in him. The thing that, to Sean's point, the thing that does worry me is the inactivity. The inactivity and the fact that, you know, this fight got postponed, canceled, whatever you want to call it. It's happening.
I'm going to throw something at you real quick. I want to hear what you got to say. This is clearly cat and mouse. Does the cat get exhausted from chasing the mouse, or does the mouse get exhausted from running away from the cat? I fought, and a lot of guys tried to grab and hold me, and I was always tussling with those guys, trying to get them off, and it wore me out. I get with Freddie Roach, and he shows me how to get out of these holds. Now all of a sudden I'm fighting, and it's like, I'm out, no problem. I'm out, no problem. Guess what? The guy that was trying to grab me, they're trying to clinch and hold and get to me, they were tensing up, and that was wearing them out just as much as I was, or what I did, my movement and things like that. So do you think that will play a factor where someone like Tyson Fury grabbing and putting weight on guys who aren't fast and quick and know how to move like Usyk, is that going to wear
That's
him
an
down?
excellent analogy, and I love the fact that you're bringing experience to the table. Where you're dealing with a 6'9" cat in Tyson Fury. You can't prepare for that. You tell me that Usyk's going to find 6'9" sparring partners that are going to outweigh him by 60 to 80 pounds that fight like light heavyweights. I mean, this is a big, huge, giant titan of a man that fights like a light heavyweight. He has the jab. He knows how to grapple. He knows how to push you off. He knows how to box on the outside with that jab. He can stick to the game plan all the way to the end. Yeah. Fury can make it dirty. He can make it clean. He can find a way to win. And with a fighter like Usyk that's so brilliant in what he does, we haven't seen him get really dirty because he's always in control. He's always that mouse that you're talking about. He knows how to fight the right way. But I think he's gonna have to fight off the cat and find a way to be a little bit more dirty. Usyk is and physical.
I wonder if you guys agree with this. I think there's a tremendous amount of pressure on Tyson Fury's shoulders, way more than Oleksandr Usyk for several reasons. His last couple of fights weren't against the best. They weren't the fights that people wanted to see him against. Then he fights Francis and does not look good. And now I feel like this is like almost an indictment, a referendum on his career and legacy, because then he gets hurt, then he gets cut, right? And people, to your point, maybe thought he was never really serious about taking this fight. And now all of a sudden you have Usyk, who's just storming through the heavyweights, blows right through, Joshua and everything like that, and he's the young bull, so to speak, that everyone thinks is going to that is just going to dethrone him. And I feel like Tyson Fury has to answer a lot of questions. There aren't as many questions on Usyk's shoulders going into this fight, but given how he looked and how he fought and how he performed against Francis, if he slips on a banana peel here, if he doesn't look good, I feel like everyone's going to rewrite. I don't think it's fair, but just rewrite the whole story of his reign and career.
They've started doing it already. When Wilder lost to Parker, everyone all of a sudden said, well, Wilder's trash. You lost to that guy. You beat that guy, you get no credit for it.
It's not fair, but it happens all the time, and I feel like there's a lot more of that on his shoulders as opposed to Usyk's going into this fight.
I agree. I think Tyson Fury's has had a lot of fights that have been canceled, injuries, and something will always come up when
fights we didn't want to see as well.
Chisora, it's almost like this has been the narrative. And it's like now you got to kind of carry this through. You got to come out on the top of this other side of this, because if you don't, now everybody says, well, this has always been your pattern, and your pattern finally caught up with you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think this is a big one for him. I think there's a lot of pressure on Tyson Fury.
I think one thing to note too is when Tyson Fury started fighting in the U.S. and he started meeting with people at Top Rank, one thing he would tell them, what I was told, was don't bring me smaller guys. He didn't want to fight smaller fighters. He likes to fight guys at close to his eye level. I know he's listed as 6'9". He's not. He's probably about 6'6". So that's why a fight with Wilder. You think he's 6'9"?
He does about the height. Yeah.
You think he's 6'9"?
No, he's not 6'9".
Okay. You're not 6'3", but go on.
I'm not going to go there with you. I'm not going to do that right now. He doesn't like fighting smaller guys, right? He likes fighting guys at his eye level. His best wins have come against those types of guys. Vladimir Klitschko many years ago, and the 2 wins over Deontay Wilder. Smaller guys just give him a little bit more problems, got to punch down a little bit. I think the way to fight Usyk is a way that I'm not sure Tyson Fury can fight. I mean, one of the guys that had the most success against Usyk, remarkably, was Derek Chisora. In the first half of that fight against Usyk, Derek Chisora applied a lot of pressure. Ran out of gas, but applied a lot of pressure, and I thought gave Usyk a lot of problems in the first half of that fight. Tyson Fury, I think, has got to go out and try to apply pressure to Usyk, because he can't let Usyk just work his way onto the inside, throw all those body shots. Look, Usyk is going to have an impeccable game plan. Whether he executes it or not, I don't know. But he's going to have a great game plan that's going to involve getting on the inside. And Usyk is familiar and successful at fighting taller guys, most recently against Anthony Joshua. So I think this is a really challenging fight for Tyson Fury.
One of the biggest components to boxing doesn't even happen in the ring, but it's timing. Timing's everything. It was always said that Mayweather shouldn't get in the ring with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's a southpaw. Manny Pacquiao's a mover. 100 punches around. That's too much, and that's not what you want to fight against. but the timing, he finally found that right moment, i.e. Tyson Fury, Oleksandr Usyk, years have gone by, people have wanted this fight. Don't bring me smaller guys. He may very well be ready for the smaller guy now. It's only a matter of time before we find
If
out.
Tyson Fury didn't have that brilliant jab that he has, that he flicks it out, he knows how to put the power behind it in the end, but he also knows how to flick it out just to time you. And going back to what Sean does, that actually stops the movement, and that could set up the right hand. If he didn't have that jab, then that's Usyk all the way. But because he's so big, he knows how to fight small, Tyson Fury. He knows how to fight on the inside and grapple and make it rough and dirty in there. But he also be on the outside picking and pecking at you. If he can do that and be disciplined enough to do that into the later rounds and get Usyk to get overly aggressive, then he can run him into something big and get Usyk to fight out of character, which we haven't seen. But if you're going to be punching up at a 6'9", whether you agree or not, target, you're going to have to get aggressive. Usyk's going to have to take chances.
But when was the last time that Fury fought someone with the skill level of Usyk? I'm not disparaging Wilder, who is
he never has.
a former Olympian. He has not fought anyone with this
Even
type
close.
of
Even
anything
close to
even
it.
close.
Yeah.
And Usyk, a former gold medalist, undisputed champion at cruiserweight, stormed through the heavyweight division thus far. This is going to be, I don't want to call it a unique challenge, but one that I don't think Tyson's faced too many of in the
And by
past.
the way, Usyk's now a heavyweight. I mean, against Chisora, he was trying to sort of get that weight, and it was an unnatural weight. You look at him now. I
that's
saw
the
him.
big challenge.
He's
Scotty,
now a heavyweight.
Because remember what Bomac said once about Terrence Crawford? Like, people better get him early when he comes to 147. And you experienced Terrence as a full 147. Like, you better get him early, because once he grows into that weight, he's going to be a lot better. I think that Usyk now as a full-fledged heavyweight is a lot better than what he was.
Usyk's incredible, isn't he? I mean, to Chris's point there, the amateur record's ridiculous. It's an insane record. But even as a cruiserweight, he's gone to everyone's backyard, their backyard, and beat all the top cruiserweights. And by the way, some big names in that World Boxing Super Series. Now he comes to heavyweight, beats my guy AJ twice, which was painful to watch from ringside. And now he's bidding to become undisputed at heavyweight. If he were to become undisputed heavyweight, again, add in the undisputed cruiserweight title, what he done as an amateur. I mean, we might have to look at the record books and see where we place Oleksandr Usyk.
Yeah, and people have been slow to give him those props, but I think now it's finally coming. I think he goes down as one of the greatest ever. If he does this, and then the rematch as well, and he wins that fight, I mean, considering the resume that you're talking about, I think there's a very strong case to be made. The one thing that I'm worried about for him in this fight, and I wonder how you guys feel about it, he was so close to getting the fight. Like, he was locked in. When I spoke to him the day after the fight got canceled, he looked like a bull with steam coming out of his ears, right?
Yeah.
He was so mad. He was 2 weeks away from the fight happening. Now what he has to do is, that was in early February, you have to, or late January, you have to take your foot off the gas, and then you have to ramp up. If Tyson wasn't taking it seriously, he's just going through a nice little training camp now. He had to get better. Maybe he couldn't go full force. But for a guy who was that revved and ready to go, sometimes you peak too early, and that comes back to hurt you. And so I'm really wondering, because he looked so ready. He looked so, he was so mad, because I think he was ready. And so I'm wondering, now you add 3 more months of a training camp, does he have it in him, or did he have it in him, to switch it off and then go through it all over again to
It's
peak on
funny
May
you
18th?
say that. I think the day after I saw him in like some yellow tight pants with music and like just dancing around.
I say, all right.
So I don't know if he's playing games with us. I
When
don't
fights
know.
get postponed, one guy tends to peak a little early
Yeah.
because they were so ready to go for that date coming up in a couple of weeks.
I kind of.
No, I was just going to say, they did scramble to try to save that date. I mean, his management team was trying to keep him on that card because they didn't want him doing exactly what you said, stopping. They wanted him to finish the camp, go through with the fight. Unfortunately, for various reasons, they canceled the entire show back in February. But he wanted to go on that February date.
Where do you guys stand on this one? Who do you think will be undisputed heavyweight champion come the
I'm going
evening on
Tyson
May 18th?
Fury. I say he shocks a lot of people, and he turns back the clock, so to speak, and he reminds everyone why he's the man.
I don't doubt a man like Tyson Fury. He's crazy as a fox. I think he's the man to beat at heavyweight, and for Usyk to have to come up from cruiserweight to beat the top dog at heavyweight, it's too much for him, I think.
The jab, the size,
Oh,
the
we're getting a clean
experience,
Yeah.
sweep on Fury here.
the mentality. You know what I mean? I just know what it means when you buy into what you're being told to do or what you have to do. I think Tyson Fury's bought in. I think he's the guy at heavyweight, unbeatable. He beats Oleksandr.
Come on, Chris, turn it around.
I bet against Alexander Usyk against Tony Bellew. I bet against him against Anthony Joshua. I did it again against Anthony Joshua in the rematch. My days of betting against Alexander Usyk are long since over. This guy continues to defy the odds, continues to beat the best. Usyk by decision.
I don't know if you guys want to know what I think, but I think Usyk gets the job done as well. So 3-2, Fury Usyk, which shows how good a fight that is. May 18th, live on DAZN. Someone is going to go home with all that gold. Will it be Tyson Fury? Will it be Oleksandr Usyk? Make sure you tune in to DAZN to find out who.